You've booked the conference, you've booked your travel, you or your company have paid for it, you've blocked your schedule, and you want to focus and absorb everything that you can from this conference so that then you can implement all these fresh ideas. But you and I both know all of the brain drain that happens after a few hours of sitting, especially for 2-day conferences. So I was just recently at a conference and I thought, I'm going to ask these other business owners, I'm going to ask these other professionals what they do to keep their energy up. I'm going to share with you their tips and ideas and my real world experience with this recently as well. Welcome, I'm Sheri Traxler with Nourish Life, author of Go Forward, 28 Days to Eat, Move, and Enjoy Life God's Way. Welcome those of you who have been here before. You are part of my community. Welcome back. If you have not already subscribed and clicked that notification bell, be sure to do that. Last week, as I mentioned, I was at a conference. It was specifically a 2-day business growth intensive. And we were going to be sitting and absorbing a lot. In fact, one of the directors, speakers at the beginning, the first day, said, if you all are not brain dead by the end of tomorrow afternoon, we have not done our job. Yeah, we knew we were going to be in for really focusing and applying everything that they've talked about, which is wonderful as long as you're alert for it. I am super excited for this interview because this is with my coach, John Michael Morgan. And so we're going to learn about his health tips, you all. We're going to learn at a conference whenever we are sitting there drained and having trouble concentrating. What do you do to stay alert that's not living on Red Bull?
Right. So it can be exhausting to do, a couple full days of standing and talking. The first thing I do is in the morning, I meditate and just get relaxed and sort of get centered, get prepared for what's coming for the day. Mm-hmm. And then I would say after that, it's a lot of water. It's just staying hydrated, yes. Throughout the day. A lot of times in these situations, I don't eat much throughout the day, which may not be a great thing, but adrenaline's going and you've got other things on your mind, so it's hard to take the time to do it. But water is something that I'm like, all right, that has to be a constant, because I'm just using a lot more energy than I normally would, so I want to make sure that I stay hydrated. And then the other thing is just, if I need a break, take it. Like listening to my body, and if I've got to take a couple minutes, I'll take a couple minutes and step out, go sit down or whatever.
Fantastic. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
I am with Jason Elkins with 100 Cups Consulting, and I have to tell you, before I ask you the big question, I want you all to know this man is gold when it comes to networking. I have learned so much from him. So 100 Cups Consulting is about networking. All right, so let's talk about this conference we're at. Yeah. How do you keep your energy up without living on like 3 pots of coffee?
Well, coffee helps for sure, but couple
Which,
things.
Of course, he's 100 cups of coffee. Right. He's going to say that.
A couple things I think about when I'm coming to conferences like this. One is I want to make sure that it's interesting, because I don't want to be at a conference that's going to put me to sleep.
Right.
So I would choose really wisely on how you're going to spend your time. And if you're going to go to a conference, make sure it's something you're passionate about or interested about. There's a lot of brain power in this. This group.
Yes.
So that's one. So making a good choice on where you're going to spend time. Second thing is, you mentioned I've gotten up a few times, stretched my legs, walked around, got some water, and energy is something that I struggle with. It's something I'm working on right now, so I'm really conscious of that. I don't want to walk home and want to take a nap as soon as I walk in the door.
Right.
So movement, water, and interest.
Pick something interesting.
Pick
Excellent.
something interesting.
All right. I am with Jeremy Keene this time with Suds Fundraising, and we are talking, what do you do, if anything, be honest, to keep your energy and focus up at a conference?
I stand as much as I possibly can. I drink a lot of water so that I have to go to the bathroom often. So that it makes me.
So it doesn't just keep your brain hydrated, it's also physically making you get up more.
Correct.
I like it.
Yeah. It's the reminder you don't need an app for. And then I also like to eat every 2 to 3 hours, just a little energy bar or a little pick me up, something that can keep my brain focused on this intense content we're going over.
Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you, Jeremy.
You're welcome.
I'm with Kendall Johnson with Underdog Films. And Kendall, here is the question of the day. We have been in a conference sitting on our rear ends, but trying to keep our brains alert. Other than caffeine and other than sugar, what do you do to keep your brain going?
Okay, well, first of all, I haven't done this well today, but what I usually love to do is I love sparkling water. So sparkling water is a big thing for me. Makes me feel like I'm drinking pop or some type of energy drink like a Rockstar. Liquid Death is a favorite of mine. It makes me think I'm drinking a Rockstar, which isn't very healthy for you. And so that keeps me energized and hydrated. Another thing is me being in the studio, staying for long periods of time. Sometimes I'll get up and I'll actually do push-ups or squats.
Oh, I love that.
Or,
we should have done that with this conference.
Yeah, or I'll do 20 air squats and then sit back down, or I'll do just some push-ups.
This is Taylor Parker with Taylor Parker Creative, and we are talking about how to keep our energy up as much as possible during a long set on your butt 2-day conference. So what are your go-tos to keep your energy up?
Movement. I keep moving throughout the day. I take breaks, walk around the hallway, come back, get refocused. I also keep something creative going during the event. I have to keep my mind engaged on more. I can listen better. I can keep up with what's happening a lot better if I have something going on, a doodle, graphic design, something happening in the background.
Very cool. So all that time I saw you on your laptop, you were actually paying attention, right?
I was.
Okay.
100%.
I am with Justin Darby this time, and he is with Middle Tennessee Dads Group. If you go to that on Facebook, is that what it's called on Facebook?
That's right.
All right. So we are at this 2-day conference, Justin. What are you doing without living on caffeine? What are you doing to keep your energy up?
Without living on caffeine, what I do is I make sure to stand up frequently or as often as I can, to move around when I can. Most of the time at a conference, you're going to have the ability to stand up, walk around, and really that gives me a boost of energy. Also, really trying to just snack on small amounts of food throughout the day instead of having a big lunch. That's really helped me out to keep the energy high.
Of course, we're not going to talk about the Firehouse Subs and the Welcome to Moe's and all that stuff that we all just finished.
We won't.
Big lunch.
No.
Yeah, with that. All right. I am with Rory Miller now with Vibe Media, and we are talking about at this conference how we're keeping our energy up without caffeine and without sugar. So how do you do it?
Yeah, so one of the big ones for me is sleep. Obviously, it's making sure I get to sleep on time, and that sounds easier than it is, but actually one of the things that I'm able to do well because I'm married is actually accountability. So my wife and I, we both have an agreed on bedtime. We know when we need to go to bed, and part of the reason for that is because we also get up in the morning to work out together. So we've got that accountability where we know, like, once 9:30 rolls around, we're both kind of looking at each other like, hey, we need to get to bed, or we're not going to feel good in the morning. And so we that accountability is really the biggest piece, because I've noticed, and she has too, that when we're not together, we both have a tendency to actually stay up later than we should, and we get busy doing stuff.
So you're here for a conference for 2 to 3 days.
Yep.
How is that affecting you?
Yeah, it's actually so. I've been traveling a lot lately, and I've noticed that when I do travel and I get out of my routine, I'm way worse about getting to bed and getting up on time. So this time, at this particular conference, what I did is I committed to sticking to my morning workout.
Nice.
I knew I'm going to get up, and I actually brought melatonin. And so what I did was around 8:30 or 9 o'clock, I just took the melatonin, regardless of how much I thought I had left to do. Because I knew even if I stay up another hour, I'm going to start to feel sleepy anyway. And so I sort of hacked my way into, making sure I went to bed on time, and then obviously getting up. And then just a few things on sleep hygiene. I also brought my eye mask to make sure I was able to black out and not get any light. And I have white noise on my phone, so I was able to to do that to sort of recreate my home sleep environment a little bit.
Fantastic. Thank you, Rory.
You bet.
First up for me is my new sit-stand converter. I actually took this in its little carry bag with me, and I will link my review of this in the description as well as on the screen for you. The next thing is, usually at a conference, I And I took my clothes this time because I expected us to take a traditional lunch break. And during lunch, that is a great time to put on your walking shoes, change into a t-shirt, and go for a walk. Did not happen this time because we had a working lunch. We took a very short time to grab our lunches and then came back and continued conversation while we were eating lunch. So there was not the ability to walk. But I did take every break possibility that we had to walk, to move around, even if it was within the room we were in, just to keep the blood flowing to the brain. The other biggie for me is when you hear me talk about a powerful plate, and I'll link that as well. With a powerful plate, typically my protein is equal to or just slightly above my starch, my carbohydrate. In this type of setting, it needs to be way above, and the carb and the starch needs to be really low because I need to keep my brain super alert. So I still had some carb, but I also had a lot more protein. And both days, actually, this was what I got for lunch. So all of the fiber in the lettuce and all of the little bit of carb in the beans and a few chips, and then all that chicken definitely kept my energy going and kept me alert. Now, the second morning, since I knew it was very likely we weren't going to have a traditional lunch break that I could go walk, I knew I needed to get all of my cardio in that morning. But I did a special one, and that is a HIIT workout. We know that a HIIT, a high intensity interval training workout, stimulates the part of the brain that helps you learn. So I knew I'd got to get all of my workout in, and it needs to be a HIIT workout. So I threw in some interval training in my walk and in my run that morning, and it really did make a difference. I was very alert all day long, despite the fact we were so deep into information. My final tip that was tested on this is what to do the night in between a 2-day conference. Sometimes it is so easy to just be mindless, like, oh, my brain has been drained all day long, so I'm just going to sit and, if you're in a hotel room, mindlessly watch some TV or scroll social media, whatever it is. And I was home. This was a conference here in my hometown, so it was going to be easy for me to, get home, watch a movie, just really go mindless. I needed to make sure my brain truly rested. And there is such a difference between zoning out and resting. Movies, TV, that kind of stuff can be a part of it. But for me first, here's exactly what I did. I got in, I stretched for a minute. It was dinner time. We had dinner. And then I said, okay, I'm going to stretch while I do this homework. So that kept my body moving gently, kept any adrenaline and cortisol moving out, and helped me get my homework done so that then that wasn't something I was pressed with later. And then I did watch about 20, 30 minutes of a TV show that I really enjoy, got my mind off of the work of the day and onto something that was a storyline to help me sleep. And I was in bed earlier than normal. And that was important because I knew it would take me a little while to get to sleep after all the excitement of the day. You do what you need to do on that night of a conference to get your sleep. Thank you so much for being here. Let me know what you do at travel conferences to keep your brain alert. I would love to hear what your real world tips are as well. Thanks again for being here. Remember to subscribe, click that notification bell, and until next time, find your unique path and fulfill your potential.